Alright, welcome back to Land of Confusion. In this episode, like it said in the title scroll, we're going to look fear in the face and come away with some strategies you can use right now to embrace fearful thoughts and make the courageous choices that you always wished you could. And as we dive into these strategies, you'll see me tackle a nerve-wracking tower build where falling would mean certain death. But hey, it's all for your enjoyment and inspiration. Let's get going. Unlike Skywalker, who bravely rejected the dark side, I actually chose to join Darth, and let's be honest, sometimes joining Darth couldn't be that bad, could it? It's about security, familiarity, and the promise of safety. It was the known, and in the face of fear, the known can seem like the only sensible path. But here's the thing, the safe path usually comes with its own darkness, and in this case, maybe a slow, creeping erosion of self. Alright, so I'm going to take you on a little journey into fear, just for fun. So I want you to go back and think about your high school experience. Think back and really engage with the feelings of the pressure to fit in and the fear of standing out and being an outcast, which is a primal survival fear. Get your mind into that state. Then imagine being given an option to present a topic that you really are passionate about to a group of your classmates. Something that will change the world for the better, if only people would listen. The excitement of sharing your mission takes you by storm, and you forget the fear of being an outcast just long enough to agree to do the presentation. And when the social anxieties wash back in, it gives you the panicked motivation to research hard and write a script. Now, fast forward, you're standing on the stage, and it's so much worse than you imagined. The teachers agreed your topic was important for everyone to hear and rallied most of the student body to attend your presentation. And now, in the largest auditorium in the school, every person in your school looks at you expectantly, waiting politely for you to marshal yourself and go. The seconds seem to draw out into hours. You look at your notes, you swallow hard, and then begin. And when you're finished, the crowd stares back at you, dead quiet. You glance nervously at your watch to see you delivered a 20-minute lecture in 4 minutes. Oh, your future at this school is over. And you step off the stage while students shift uncomfortably in their chairs, wondering what the hell just happened. So, if you're like most people who, fear presentations, you're probably in a catatonic fear state, imagining yourself in this scenario. So, let's see if I can talk you down with a couple of strategies that I've learned for myself over the years.
In pixel lands where shadows blend, a world of blocks that never end, stone and ore beneath our feet, craft our dreams in rhythm sweet, skyward reach with every click.
The first one is the in-the-moment strategy, and that is take the deep breath and then tell yourself, I am safe right now. Now, this only works if my assumption is right that you're sitting comfortably in your house and there is no tigers about to pounce on you. But if you're watching YouTube, it's a pretty safe assumption. Anyways, give it a try now. You will definitely feel better. And a more rational part of your brain can now step in to evaluate the situation with some logic. Once your rational brain is back in control of the situation, you can take a moment to feel a better fear, which is my second strategy. And it's kind of an intermediate time frame. It has to be done after the initial fear has been talked out of, with realizing you're safe. To give you a bit of context, though, I lived the experience that I just described. And without knowing it consciously at the time, I was using this second strategy first to get myself into the situation, and then to get myself out. Specifically, I imagined a world where no one would take action on cleaning up the environment. The destruction of so much life and landscape filled me with so much revulsion that I had to stand up and give this presentation. I was, in fact, so passionate that I also convinced 5 of my peers to join me on stage. After the presentation went horribly, catastrophically wrong, the fear of not getting the message out and the fear of being labeled a nut job or a coward propelled me back onto the stage to apologize to the audience and to reiterate the most important message. Now, I had 2 more years of high school ahead of me when this happened, and for a few weeks, people would stare at me when I passed by, but if I caught their eye, they'd look away sheepishly, clearly embarrassed for me. And yet, before the year was over, I was pretty much forgotten. And the takeaway? I lived. And more importantly, I've never actually been afraid to give a presentation ever since. So this story brings me to my third strategy, which is to expose yourself to incrementally scarier situations and experience the outcomes, both good and bad, to get over fear. This is a long-term muscle builder, and it is something that Minecraft can help you with. What you need to do is expose yourself to fearful situations consciously and purposefully. This isn't about some rah-rah, just do it when you're scared crap that you hear so often in motivational talk. No, this is fear response conditioning, and it needs to be done slowly and thoughtfully, starting with manageable fears. So, like I said, Minecraft is a great starting place because if you're like me, you jump every time you hear the Enderman pop into existence, or the sound of the creeper just as it sneaks up on you. If that's the case, then the action for you to take is to secure all your inventory in a chest, put on your cheapest armor that you don't mind losing, and go Enderman hunting, or creeper hunting. You get killed a few dozen times, and you'll notice over time how the sounds, once panic-inducing, are now recognized as useful information and a call to action that you choose how to respond to. So this conditioning also works in the real world and can be done in a couple of ways. So one is to imagine a dangerous situation that you have already survived. Relive that situation in your memory and trigger the fear, and then, when you're at the peak of your fear, remind yourself, I am safe. Then, revisit what you did, or what you might do better if you were in that situation again. The other way that you can do this in real life is to choose any situation that you currently feel fear for. Now, you're going to start with something that's pretty minor that might result in a little discomfort or some minor embarrassment. For example, I know a lot of people are nervous about calling someone new on the phone when they need to ask a question at a store or anything like that. Or some people are afraid of getting a vaccine shot or having blood taken. Those are sort of prescribed by your doctor, so not as easy to get into. You actually know your fears best, though, so pick light ones and start exercising in a controlled situation where the outcome is relatively low risk and can be managed, even if you panic a little bit. As you become familiar with the responses to fear, both physical and emotional, you'll be able to manage yourself more effectively when confronted by a more significant or immediate fear. Then, do it again, level up. Soon enough, you'll be parkouring in real life on the skyrise rooftops. Now, there is an ugly truth about fear that you need to understand. You will never escape, overcome, or conquer fear. It is a part of you and a necessary evolutionary survival mechanism. But by doing these strategies, it allows you to learn to control your response to fears rather than having your fears control your response. So when I said earlier in the video that I am no longer afraid of giving presentations, that's not technically true. I just know to use the fear that it gives me to do a better preparation. And this is a response that ensures that I'll be successful. Okay, so I've given you a fair bit to think about there, so I'm going to take a little breather, let you watch the video, enjoy the build, and listen to some inspiring music while you think about your application of the strategies that I've just given you and the things that you find fearful before we dive into the next segment, which is about how to apply it to the career decision.
Chasing shadows in the night sky, crafting dreams from dirt and gold, ancient tales still yet untold, gravel paths beneath my feet, every hue of heart I greet, from the mountain high to my so deep, echoes of creation that never sleep, block by block the world we make in this digital landscape, from the forest to the lakes, echoes of our futures take. Block by block, the world we make in this digital landscape, from the forest to the lakes, echoes of our futures take. Through the night, pixelated lights, we build empires in the quiet. Every block a story forged in the shadow of the sword. Gather round the fire's bright, stone and iron in the fight. Conquer realms, build the dream in this unending, crafted sea. Block by block the world we make in this digital landscape, from the forest to the lakes, echoes of our futures take. Block by block the world we make in this digital landscape, from the forest to the lakes, echoes of our futures take. Block by block the world we make in this digital landscape, from the forest to the lakes, echoes of our futures take.
Okay, so that's all the meaty bits here, but let's put it in context of what we're actually here for, and that's career advice. How do we actually use this to deal with our career choices? So I'm going to use my own first job choice as a model for what was, what should have been, and why. So the quick backstory here. My dad offered me my first job out of university. Now, I'd already sent out a couple resumes. They really had no firm prospects. But despite this, I was motivated to stay put in the city I grew up in, and I had a lovely girlfriend who became my wife, and a network of people from school that I could connect with, and there seemed to be boundless opportunity for me in the local industries. When I told my father I didn't want to move to the coast and work on another one of his projects, his response was, "Well, who do you think is going to give you a job?" Needless to say, I was a little bit crushed by that statement from somebody who I had, the respect for and his authority. And immediately crashing upon me was the fears of not having had any responses to my resume, and even the idea that I might not know what I wanted to do kind of gripped me. And I caved in right then and there, and I took the job with my dad. And while I had envisioned going back to my passion for CG animation, I didn't even know where to begin on that path. So all my other choices ahead were beyond uncertain. And a job with Dad was just that, certain. So it was the logical and sensible choice. To be honest, the job had many perks and some satisfying moments. The greatest of these being massive autonomy. Nepotism has its pluses. But it was an autonomy that was later rewarded by prospective employers when I was looking for new work, asserting that I lied on my resume. So, go figure. No getting ahead. Now, your choice, the one that's holding you up right now, is likely to have stakeholders, significant others, parents, children, and they may be using various tactics, as my dad did, to encourage the sensible choice. And that path will ensure their security and feeling of safety. Now, I would never argue that the fears of your stakeholders to a decision should be ignored, but if you are here listening this far into the video, and then I guess that you are at a crossroads about your next life choice, there are a lot of unknowns and a lot of dire consequences that you've envisioned, that you've stacked on top to think about while making this decision. So leaving that life-sucking 9-to-5 job, or that career path you stumbled into that feels purposeless, that feeling is terrifying for you and your people. So looking back at my first choice, if I had skilled up with these strategies, I would have hung up the phone with my dad, looked around to see that I was safe. And I would have told myself so. Then I should have chosen the better fear. A career where my purpose would never be expressed, an eventual complete loss of self. In that comparison, even the threat of starving to death, a very unlikely outcome for sure, would have been quelled, since at that point, what is the point of living if you are pointless? Had I done this, I likely would have chosen to learn the tools and skills for computer graphics, as a friend of mine who graduated in the same class as me did, and likely would have had a career that answered my purpose right from the start, instead of trying to get to it now, 30 years later. So, now for you. If you are blocking your own path forward, and you're mired in fear, step back right now. Tell yourself, I am safe. Then, share your purpose in the comments below. Stating it out loud to the world will make it real and give it the teeth to bite back your fears, and choose the road that will make your life shine like a beacon. What are you waiting for? Comment now. Exercise that fear where only 50 or 60 people might see it. All strangers without any stake. Low risk, high reward. You are safe here.
Building dreams, but I luck in a land where diamonds rock. Crafting tales from dawn to night. Pixel worlds in endless sight. Digging deep to find the glow. Redstone wiring all in flow. Mountains high and oceans wide. Adventure calls, come join the ride. Craft your world with open hands. Unleash your power on these lands. From each block a story grows. In this realm where anything goes. Survive the night with sword in hand. Zombies lurking in the sand. Daybreak brings a brand new quest. In this game we are truly blessed. Placing stones to build the sky. Touch the clouds, we'll never shy. From meadow green to desert dry. In Minecraft we can always fly. Craft your world with open hands. Unleash your power on survive the night, the sword in hand. Zombies lurking in the sand. Daybreak brings a brand new quest. In this game we are truly blessed. Craft your world with open hands. Unleash your power on these lands. From each block a story grows. In this realm where anything goes.
Okay, thank you for watching this episode of Land of Confusion. And I want to thank everyone who has subscribed on my previous videos. Your subscriptions and comments really help propel the channel forward towards my goal of 1,000 subscribers by next March. And if you like this video, of course, smash the like button below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything coming up. Join me in the next video where I talk about loyalty to your job, with do's and don'ts that will help you make the choice when you get a really tasty counteroffer, since after this video, you're going to jump out and make the change to a new career path. See you next time on Land of Confusion.